Love that story. It's a beautiful story, and it says everything. It's totally complete. Jesus takes the initiative. Jesus takes charge. He asks us a few things, and we get rewarded. That's basically the message of that story. And what Peter does is acknowledges his sinfulness as a man, because now he's confronted with Jesus, and Jesus pulled this great miracle, astounding miracle, to the point the boats were almost sinking. So that acknowledgement, we do it at the beginning of every Mass, is acknowledgement of our sinfulness. God is God, we are the creatures. He's the creator, we're the creatures. So we're never equal to God, but we always come before God. Now, we come before God when we need, we come before God when we're in sorrow. And there's other reasons. So here, Peter is acknowledging his sinfulness, his weakness as a person, and he feels overwhelmed that Jesus would take the time and be with him. By the way, that's also to us. Never feel overwhelmed that Jesus is with you and hears you. So the theme of, I think, these readings is placing ourselves before God. And what is prayer? Prayer is placing ourselves in the hands of God, placing our thoughts. God is above us, we know that, but yet he's always with us and always present. So our thoughts to him, God, say him because Jesus refers to him as Father. So our thoughts to the Father are always prayers. There could be a thought of joy, it could be a thought of fear, it could be a thought of here in sorrow, reconciliation. They're always prayers. There's so many ways to pray. Just speaking, raising our hearts and minds to God is a prayer. Now, what does Paul say about that to the Colossians? We, himself, do not cease praying for you and asking that you be filled with the knowledge of God's will through the spiritual wisdom and understanding, and to walk in the manner of the Lord, and to be pleasing to God. Paul is constantly praying. Think about that as part of the foundation of our faith. Historically, goes back right to the beginning. When Jesus was asked, teach us how to pray like John disciples taught him, and then the Lord gives us the great Lord's Prayer, the Our Father. But that didn't stop with Jesus. Raising our hearts and minds to God has been part of human reach to God since the beginning. We have pictures on the caves of prehistoric caves of Lascaux in France, and we have some in Spain. And we see the drawings done usually with chalk or burnt chalk or bone, and they're prayers. Now, I don't know who they were praying to, but there was an awareness in those prehistoric men and women that there was something above us. And I think that's so beautiful and so necessary and so much of the foundation of our lives. There's something above me. We, through the scriptures of the Old Testament, have come to identify that person as Yahweh, the nameless one, and eventually gets revealed to us as Jesus in the scriptures, as you know. So it's in us to pray. It's in our humanity to pray. And Jesus refers that when he says, you're going to be fishers of people from now on. It's translated fishers of men, but it's omnibus, it's Latin. It's people. You're going to be fishers of people. But that's not our concern. Our concern is the interior relationship that we have with the divine, with the Creator. It's in us instinctually. People who don't even know God, I'm thinking of you. You hear that on the news. Now, we have intentions right now. Major intentions. The floods that we just experienced, the floods in New Orleans, the brothers and sisters trying to escape Afghanistan, our soldiers who are still there, those who worked with the American troops in danger. Christians, forget it. They're all in danger, just being Christian. So we have intentions, specific intentions, plus those on the altar, plus those that have asked for prayers. So we have specific intentions with which we can place ourselves in the presence of God and specifically mention those intentions. And Paul says, never cease. I never cease doing this. So that's our goal, to pray constantly. That, yes, we always pray for spiritual wisdom and understanding, but we pray for healing, we pray for escape, we pray for captives, we pray for flood victims, we pray for people whose homes were flooded last night. So it's instinctual in humanity that we have something in us that connects us with the divine. We're all made in his image, the scriptures tell us. People knew that instinctually from the beginning of creation, that there's something in God, in me, that's the same. And of course, we imago Dei, we said in the image of God. Now, Christians call it soul, spirit. I don't know what non-Christians call it, but I know there's plenty of non-Christians who offer prayers all the time, whether they know what they're doing or not. I think of the newscasters always say, oh, we're thinking of those people. Tell them, if they hear a report, or tell them we're thinking of them. And some will say, we're thinking of them in prayer, okay? But that thinking of them is that little bridge between me and God. I'm trying to focus on the fact that everyone prays. Not everyone knows the target of their prayer. Christians do. Religious people do. But it's instinctual. And it goes back to imago Dei, the image of God in us. When you love, when you experience love, whether it's paternal with children or erotic husband and wife, that is an image of God in you, because God is love. And if I'm activating my love on behalf of someone, I'm praying for that person. There's so many ways in which the presence of God in our lives can encourage us to speak to him. And our ultimate destiny, is God. I think it was Augustine who said, our souls are restless until they rest in you. He was a great philosopher, but he was also a great theologian. So he knew what he was saying, that we're destined to be with God. But while our bodies are still here on earth, we have a connection with God. The ultimate prayer is the Eucharist, because prayer is the offering up and the receiving back. We offer the bread, we receive back the body and blood of the Son of God, Jesus Christ. So as we begin the school year for the kids, as we begin, many people bailing themselves out of the floods, as we see many cars on the highway stuck because last night they were flooded, we have plenty of reasons to pray, plenty of intentions. For the sick, the homeless, for those suffering, for anyone in the healthcare industry. The lists go on and on. Never tire. Paul says, I never cease praying for you and asking that you be filled with the knowledge of God's will. That's what we pray for one another.